there, boys and girls. It's so nice to see you, or for you to seeing me, really. And here we are in a new location, no longer in a homeschool land. We are now here in the nice place that Pastor Paula made for the teensies, in the Teensies Center. It's a nice. All right, and today I want to do something special. This week, this is a Holy Week. This is a Passion Week. This is the week of Easter. And in the week of Easter, we think about the Jesus Christ and all the good things that he did so that we could be saved. And so today, we want to take a time to think about what all took place during this week. And to help us do that, I have a special treat. I have an unboxing. Well, this is an uncrating. And the uncrating is the resurrection eggs. We're going to look inside of my crate of eggs, and we're going to learn about this week. Are you ready to join me with this? Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. So let us start by opening up my resurrection eggs. Oh my goodness, they're so pretty. There's so many colors. Look at all of these beautiful eggs. Maybe you're making some eggs at the home. You know what would be fun? If you would color a picture of an egg, and maybe you will mail it to me. You can mail it to a Valley Center Community Church at our address. I will get it for you. It's on a line. But you could mail your egg, and you could say with a picture of a CMN stand. That would be a very nice. I hang it on my wall, and I would remember you by it. But let's just look at these pretty eggs. We got the first egg right here. This is the pretty blue egg. What do you think is in this egg? What started it all off? When we think about this Holy Week, when did it all begin? Let's see. What is in here? Can you see it? What is that? That's right. It's a donkey. This is a donkey. Now, when did the donkey come into the story of Easter and the whole idea of a Passion Week? Well, let us think. If you remember, all right, when Jesus was getting ready to come into Jerusalem, he rode in on the what? On the coat of a donkey, on a baby donkey. Remember, Jesus came in on a Palm Sunday, riding in on the coat of a donkey. And on this coat, this was a showing of Jesus' authority. It was him showing to the people, I really am the one, the true king. The king you all have been waiting for. But still a little different, because you guys will think I'm going to make a kingdom right here and now, but I am not. I'm making a kingdom for eternity, somewhere better, somewhere safer, somewhere more perfect in the heaven. And so Jesus came in on a donkey. He showed us that he had the authority to then over control all of creation. And then he went to where? He went to the temple, remember? And in the temple, remember, he got mad, and he drove out all the money changers and the people that were selling things. And he was showing that he had not only the authority over all of creation, but that he was having authority over his people and the church. This was a big stuff. Made the Pharisees really mad. And because they got really mad, you know what they were thinking? They was thinking, how are we going to get rid of this guy? We got to stop this, because this Jesus, he's taking everybody away from us. And so they did something very bad. And it has to do with this egg. They got a guy named Judas to come, and he had gave them money, or they gave him money. These are coins that had a Caesar's face on them. And this money they used to pay us Judas to then betray Jesus and to give him up so that they could crucify him or kill him, because they wanted to have all the people for themselves, not for God. This was no good. Well, after Judas was given this money, he had to look for a time when he was going to betray Jesus. But Jesus was getting ready for something else. You know what he was getting ready for? He was getting ready for a Passover. Remember a Passover in our walk through the Bible, or our voyage through the Bible? What was the Passover again? Oh, that's all right. It's what happened in Egypt when God took Israel out of Egypt. Remember? He had them take of a lamb, and they had to take the blood of the lamb and put it on the doorposts, the frame, so that the God knew they were trusting in Him to a save of their lives when the angel passed over and was taking all of the firstborns, right? It was a big, big deal. It was a scary deal, but not for those who had trusted in a God, because they knew that God was big and strong and was going to take care of them and keep them safe. And so as Jesus got ready for a Passover, He had sent His disciples, and they got the room, and they got it all ready, and then they had what we call the Lord's Supper, the last meal, right? And in it, we have this nice cup, because Jesus took the bread, and He broke it, and He said that this is going to represent my body, given for you. It's going to then be showing you that I was a human being, just like you, and I died in your place. And then He took the cup, and He then said, this cup is now representing a new covenant between me and those of you who would believe in me, and it symbolizes my blood. Because by my blood I have forgiven all of your sins. And so He says, I want you to do this when you get together to remember me and what it is I'm about to do for you by dying on the cross for your sins. So this was a very, very special meal. After that, the meal, He and His disciples, they left, And where do you think they went to? They went to a place that He was familiar with, a nice garden. And in that garden, you know what He did? It's in this egg. Look at this. He went and prayed. And He prayed really, really hard. And He was praying so hard, and He was asking God, is there any other way that this can happen, that the people that I love can be saved, and I don't have to be separated from you? I don't have to die, and I don't have to go through all of this. But there wasn't no other way. Jesus was the only way. He was the only truth. He is the only life. And it's only through Him that we can be saved. And so Jesus has said, you know what, God, if there's no other way, then your will be done, not my will. That's big, isn't it? You know what? Jesus asks us to live like that too. To tell God, you know what, God, there are things I don't like to do or I don't want to do. But because, God, you are my God and you are my Lord, if you are asking me to go do them, I will go do them. Because I want your will to be done and not my will. And so after praying a long, long time, and even sweating the drops of blood because he was so sad for what was about to happen, Judas showed up. And he didn't come alone. He showed up with a lot of people in the army kind of guys. And they came and they took Jesus away to go into a trial, a false or fake trial, to then try Jesus to see whether or not he should be killed or crucified. And that was a Thursday night. We call it the Maundy of Thursday, which leads us now to a Good Friday. On a Good Friday, Jesus was taken to the Roman government, right, to a guy named Pilate, to see if Pilate would agree to do what the Jews wanted him to do, to put Jesus to death. And Pilate was trying Jesus. And he was asking him, are you really the king of the Jews? Is this really true what they are saying about you? And Jesus didn't say anything. He just listened because it was true that Jesus was the really God. And Jesus, the only thing that he had told Pilate was, because of my God, my Father, is really in control, I trusted him. You would have no ability, Pilate, to do anything to me unless God allows you to do it. And so after this, and after Pilate's wife had a dream about Jesus and said, hey, this Jesus is a really true thing. You shouldn't touch him. Pilate was trying to figure out, how do I let Jesus go? Because I don't want to deal with this guy. He's not what the Jews are telling me he is. But he didn't know how. And so he did this thing where he had his Roman soldiers take a whip. Now this leather strippy right here is what we use to remind us of this whip. And it was called a cat of 9 tails. Now cats have 9 lives, but they're not after this whip. This set of whip was a very bad. It had the stone, it had the glass, it had the metal pieces in it, and it was used to really hurt the people. And they whipped the Jesus a lot of times. So much so, and after they did it, they said he didn't look like a Jesus anymore. And then not only did they do this to him, but then they also took these things they call the crown of thorns, and they put it on his head. Now this one is not the best representation. I will show you a better one. But that's going to come on a Thursday. We have a special Seaman stand on a Thursday this week where we'll show you the real crown of thorns, as well as then we'll walk through the rest of my resurrection eggs. Okay? But till then, boys and the girls, talk with your mommies and the daddies about all that Jesus has done so far this week and how we are getting ready for a Passover, which is tomorrow on a Wednesday, and how God used the Passover, remember, to save Israel from Egypt and the slavery, and how Jesus is like our Passover lamb who is come to save us from our sin and to then free us so that we can go and live for him. So, I hope you guys can color me some pictures and you can mail them to the church. You can find the address in the description box. I will see you guys on a Thursday. God bless.